Welcome to YouTube channel Your Curveless Earth, where the premise is short and simple. One truth exposes 1,000 lies.
Oh, God. You're funny.
Today, my aim is to give you the necessary tools to prove to your friends and family, once and for all, that the Earth, indeed, is flat.
Are you now? Are you going to point to the ocean and say, look, there's no curve, even though people have told you that you can't see a curve when you're that close to the surface? Or are you going to point to distant objects and say, look, guys, I can see distant objects, even though the bottom part of the objects that you were looking at are cut off, which entirely contradicts the flat Earth model? Or are you going to talk about crepuscular rays, which are caused by fucking perspective? Which one of the countless inane proofs that flat earthers have been touting out for the last 2 centuries are you going to talk about?
Though before getting too mathematical, we need to establish a base of argument for the scientific community's leading belief on the shape of the Earth. Since 1975, NASA has provided the world these 8 globe Earth images. And while each globe image, including the most recent 2015 image, would appear to be a sphere, in 2007 we were told otherwise by a leading expert, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's take a look and see what Neil has to say.
Oh, don't you fucking dare bring up the goddamn pear-shaped Earth fucking clip. Oh my goodness, you dishonest piece of shit. This is a perfect example of why flat earthers are such dishonest assholes. Because they take Neil deGrasse Tyson out of context. And I'm about to watch you do it. I'm only going to let you do it once because you do it like 500 times in your stupid video. I'm going to let you do it once. And then I'm going to prove... Hey, I'm in your... Hey, look. Ah, that's actually kind of cool. I'm right there. Hey, dude, I'm like in your... I'm in your suggested videos list. You should go watch me. I'm actually impressed that I'm on there. That's actually kind of cool. You should go watch that instead of watching the stupid crap that you're watching. Okay, and then I can't get over this. And then I'm gonna show you the end of that interview that demonstrates how much of a dishonest piece of shit you are.
So you spin, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out. Yeah. Gets wider in the middle. So Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning. And it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby is a good word. It's like pear-shaped. 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 Pear-shaped.
So here's what Neil actually said. First, he used a metaphor. Then, twice, he explains to you what that metaphor means.
Earth has been misrepresented to us by geologists. Because the globes that you buy, that you rub your fingers over and you feel the Himalayas and you feel the Rocky Mountains. No, okay? These mountains are puny compared to the size of the Earth. You would not know they were there. Just so you know. Oh, by the way, how pear-shaped are? It's like, a dozen, 20 miles. It's in the teens. So it's not that much. But Mount Everest.
And last, he says this line.
Surface features, but cosmically speaking, we're practically a perfect sphere.
Did you hear that? Cosmically speaking, the Earth is a perfect sphere. That is how fucking dishonest you are. That you took the one clip where he uses a metaphor and you're too fucking stupid to understand what a metaphor is, and you just take it to be a literal statement. No one has ever said that the Earth is literally pear-shaped. You have so little to stand on as far as evidence is concerned that the only way for you to promote your stupid flat Earth idea is to fucking lie. That is all you have. Lies. And coming from the asshat who said that a single truth reveals 1,000 lies, or whatever the fuck your intro sentence was, I find it fucking hilarious to catch you lying like this.
So, if Neil were telling the truth, then there would be some very noticeable happenings on this earth. For one, all of our foundations of our buildings would be shaken from this change in the Earth's formation as it's been rotating and stretching.
Oh, and so you have some data showing the rate at which the Earth stretches, right? Oh, you don't? You're just pulling shit out of your ass? That is exactly what you are doing right now. You are making the claim that the Earth is stretching at such a higher rate that it would be noticeable to us here on Earth, and that there is absolutely no other force, say, pulling the Earth together. And you are saying this without even bothering to back it up. Neil deGrasse Tyson never said that the Earth was stretching at a high rate. Remember, he said from the beginning of the conception of Earth, which is in the understood model of reality to be several billion years ago. So over the last several billion years, it has stretched a little bit. So nowhere does Neil actually claim that this is a high rate, that this is happening right now at such an incredible rate. You are making that claim, and you are making that claim without bothering to provide any evidence for it.
Not only that, all these land masses would be stretching. They would be getting longer. Does anyone own property that is gained in their amount of property that they're now getting taxed? Has it been stretched out? Anyone?
Oh, yes, please. Let's have a stupid thought experiment instead of actual research into geology and the rate at which we create landmass. Because some fucking idiot on YouTube is way, way smarter than all the other geologists on Earth. So how about instead of just pulling claims out of your ass, you show us the fucking data showing us the rate at which the Earth is stretching out, showing us that we should be having an increase in landmass. Oh, I know why you won't want to do that, because this claim came straight out of the deep darkness of your fucking ass, didn't it?
How about roads, bridges? Mainly roads, bridges, sidewalks, railroads. Any of these, have they been stretched out to where they're not able to connect because of the stretching of the Earth? So he's trying to tell us that the Earth has been stretching, but yet we can't see it.
No, he hasn't. You have been telling us that the Earth is stretching and nobody can see it. There is no point in which Neil deGrasse Tyson said that the rate of stretching is great enough that it can be visible. You are the one making that claim, and you are the one making that claim with absolutely no evidence to back it up.
Kind of odd. So which of these 4 Earth globes has any signs of being pear-shaped?
You are... How fucking ignorant are you? Second graders can understand a metaphor. How fucking stunted is your intelligence that you cannot understand a fucking metaphor? Do you think that when someone says it's raining cats and dogs, that there is literally a mass of dead dogs and cats outside of your fucking house? It's called a fucking metaphor. go back to second grade and learn what fucking English language is all about. And now I'm gonna skip a shit ton of your video because you just keep prattling on about the fucking pear-shaped earth. You ignorant ass.
So why change the perception of the earth, Neil? Why would you do that? I got an idea. It's this. It's called the Pythagorean theorem. And so the entire reason Neil deGrasse Tyson said the earth is now pear-shaped, it is to discredit this very equation.
That's it? That is your great proof? Miles squared times 8 inches is your fucking proof. Jesus fuck. What is with you flat earthers and not understanding math? This equation has been pointed out as being nothing more than a rule of thumb that becomes incredibly inaccurate the further you get away. So the larger the distance, the more inaccurate it is. To show you how well understood this is, here are 3 different websites that allow you to measure Earth's curvature. One of which is done by a flat earther. Now I'm going to take the examples that you're going to give and I'm going to compare them to the results given by these 3 different websites. And by doing this, we're going to find out how much of a dishonest little bitch you are.
So I went out and did my own test. And this is what I found, okay? I took a picture, and this is over the ocean. This is the Atlantic Ocean. I'm in St. Augustine Beach, Florida, USA. And this was on June, I believe, 17th, 2016. And everything you see in that triangular-shaped red box should not be visible from the point where I took this picture.
I'm sorry, did you just fucking call that a triangular-shaped box? Jesus fuck, man. You are terrible at geometry, which honestly doesn't surprise me since you're a flat earther.
I have another whole video on this where I go in depth as to how I did my experiment on this. So I know, I saw it with my own eyes, I tested it, I know that there's no curvature on the water. So the only way to prove flat earth is go and test it yourself.
Now, I am going to give this guy some credit here because he genuinely does have a whole other video where he explains in far too much detail what he did. No one really cares if you took your kids along to fucking see this or not. But the point is that he went out and did this himself. Now, I'm going to explain to you the experiment and spare you having to watch his nonsense. But pretty much what he did is he spotted a couple of buildings in the distance and then went out and found out how far away he was from those buildings, found out how tall those buildings were. After that, he took his stupid 8 inches square whatever the fuck equation and found out that he shouldn't have been able to see those buildings. So now we're going to double check his work. Now, the first thing that's worth pointing out about this research is the heights of the buildings that he found. Never in his video or in his description does he actually source the places where he found the heights of the buildings. I spent several hours trying to find out what the heights of these buildings were. For one, the Flagler Water Tower, all he could say was that he called the person in charge and they told him. Doesn't name the person he called, doesn't give a phone number where anyone else can test it out. Really gives you nothing besides, I did it, guys. And so I struggled for a long time trying to figure out what would be a good way to find the height of these buildings. It was at this point that I noticed something interesting on Google Earth. On Google Earth, when you hold your pointer in a certain area, it'll actually give you the height at which the pointer is from sea level, the elevation. I tested this out for several buildings, including the Eifel Tower, the Madison Capitol Building in Wisconsin, and the White House. For all 3 times, I got really good answers for how tall these buildings are above sea level, which is what this flat chart here is using, height above sea level. Now, one of his buildings, the Eifel Building, actually matches up with what I found on Google Earth. The other one, the Flagler Tower, does not. I'm going to use the measurement that I found because I don't trust this asshole. He is obviously untrustworthy because he can't even quote Neil deGrasse Tyson correctly. I don't trust him. I'm actually finding out how tall the Flagler Tower was. The next thing that we need to find out is how tall our observer is. This is important for entering into the website to find the distance that we can see. By placing my cursor on exactly the spot that he points to, because he actually gives you coordinates, I find that he's about 3 feet above sea level. He doesn't give me his height, so I'm just going to assume he's an average American male and he's about 5'10". In total, he's about 8.8 feet above sea level, so we're going to use that as our height. So let's enter all the information we have and see what we find out. We'll start with the flat earth. We'll start with Smokescreen Design, a flat earther. Smokescreen Design on his website has provided us this little calculator. We'll use his first and we'll see what a flat earth website has to tell us. Now we said our height will be 8.8, so the 3 feet for your elevation plus your 5 feet 10 inches of how tall you are. And we are going to be looking out at 13.4 miles to the Eifel Building. And let's see what we get. Calculate. 63 feet are below or hidden by the horizon. 63 feet. And we can double check that, and we get the exact same thing everywhere else. 63 feet. Let's compare that to your 119 feet. Huge fucking difference. Not just that, with 63 feet being hidden below the horizon, the Eifel Building still has 94 feet that we can see. That kind of matches up with the picture that you gave us. Okay, now let's try it for our other building, which you said is 17.96 miles away. Well, let's calculate. 136 feet. Try it out on all the other websites. $136. And one more. $136. Now we can compare that to your nonsense of 215 feet, which means that we should still be able to see about 14 feet of the Flagler Water Tower, which once again matches up with the picture that you took. This is what happens when you sit down and you actually do the math that's correct, instead of the math that you have bought into. You have bought into crappy math that does nothing more than keep promoting the flat earth model. There is a reason why flat earthers keep using this stupid equation. It's because it's wrong, and whatever results they get will be wrong, but it allows them to pretend as if they are right. We don't even need your math to demonstrate that there is curvature. The pictures that you have taken alone do this for us. On a flat earth model, the Flagler Water Tower should look like this in your image. We should be able to see it from bottom all the way to the top, but instead we can only see the top. The same thing is true for the other building. Every time some dumbass flat earther touts out some picture of some distant building, they fail to realize that the bottom part is cut off exactly as it is predicted by a globe earth model. You don't even need to go through the trouble of doing the math to realize that the curvature of the earth is hiding the bottom portion of buildings. Curbless Earth, it's not just that your math is wrong. It's the fact that when you bring out your ideas, you come out with this holier-than-thou idea, this one truth will set you free from all these lies, when you yourself cannot even go a full video without lying. It's because you make statements like this.
You see, people have begun to awake from the satanic spells that are continually being cast upon us. Lie after lie after lie is repeated, repeated, repeated until we accept it as truth.
Only to then go on and mindlessly repeat the same stupid 8 inches per square mile formula that has been debunked over and over and over again. Do you honestly think that if you just keep repeating it over again, that people will listen to you? You yourself who have brought out the problems of just repeating a lie over and over again. So, Curbless Earth, how about instead of doing crappy math, instead of just buying into whatever stupid ass shit flat earthers throw in your way, you actually take a look and critically analyze what these flat earthers are telling you. Because the moment that you do that is the moment you'll realize that you are part of one of the stupidest movements that the human race has ever created.